How do you move 100 tons of gold past a total military blockade without carrying a single coin? You don't need to move the gold. You turn the gold into data. 700 years before your first banking app, the Knights Templar didn't just invent the bank, they invented the encrypted digital ledger. On October 13th, 1307, King Philip of France launched the most precise zero-day exploit in history, raiding every Templar vault in the country simultaneously. His objective? To seize a fortune that could buy half of Europe. But when the doors were smashed open, he was met with a technical impossibility. The vaults were digitally clean. The gold hadn't been stolen, it had been dematerialized. This isn't a ghost story. It's a forensic investigation into the lost operating system of the modern world. Today, we decode the trillion-dollar secret that official science refuses to call by its real name: medieval blockchain. To solve the mystery of the empty vaults, we have to look at the infrastructure. The Templars weren't just soldiers, they were the world's first decentralized banking network. They solved a 12th century problem with a 21st century solution. They engineered a system called traveler's checks that functioned like modern-day public key cryptography. If a merchant carried gold from London to Jerusalem, he was a target. Instead, he deposited gold in London and received a coded parchment. When he arrived in Jerusalem, he presented the parchment and received his gold back, minus a transaction fee. This was the birth and origin of biometrics. To verify the user, the document required a specific identifier: the owner's fingerprint. They weren't just moving money, they were managing a double-entry bookkeeping system and complex interest algorithms that are the direct ancestors of the servers running Wall Street right today.
King Philip was indebted to the Templars. He didn't raid the temple because of religion. He raided it because he was bankrupt. He spent years planning this raid. He had the best spies, the highest level of state intelligence, and a total geographical blockade. Yet he was outsmarted by the Templars. On the night before the arrests, 17 ships vanished from the port of La Rochelle. They weren't carrying knights, they were carrying the archives, the hard drives of the 14th century. I need your help with this forensic audit, because at this point, historians were divided. How did 17 massive ships bypass a state-monitored blockade in a single night? Did the Templars have a supernatural warning, or was there a high-level insider leak from within the king's own inner circle? Drop your theory in the comments right now. Was this the first insider leak in banking history?
The most compelling evidence for this digital archive appeared in 1885. A poor priest in the Pyrenees, Berenger Saunière, discovered 4 coded parchments inside a hollow pillar during a church renovation. 2 contained genealogies, the other 2 were encrypted. After meeting with experts in Paris and sharing the documents with them, the poor priest suddenly had an infinite budget. He suddenly gained access to an infinite supply of wealth. He built a luxury villa and a tower. He wasn't digging for buried gold. He was liquidating a 600-year account. He had found a fragment of the digital code that the King of France failed to capture in 1307. The Templar wealth never left the system, it just offshored. In Portugal, they rebranded as the Order of Christ, where they provided the technical navigation and funded the Age of Discovery. In Russia, their 18 ships coincided with the sudden economic rise of Moscow. They didn't just build castles, they built high-security data vaults. The Oak Island Money Pit isn't a hole in the ground, it's a hydraulic engineering masterpiece designed by the same minds that built the European banking system.
During the execution of the Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, on March 18, 1314, on a small island in the Seine, Jacques de Molay's final words on the pyre weren't just a curse, they were a system override. Within a year, every man who authorized the raid was dead, including the Pope and the King. But the Templars' invention had already achieved immortality. The Templar banking protocol became the foundation of the modern world banking system.
We look for Templar gold in the dirt, but we should be looking at our screens. The real trillion-dollar secret isn't a pile of gold bars, it's the logic of the transaction. The Templars realized that power doesn't come from owning the gold, it comes from owning the system that moves it, the ledger. Every time you tap your phone to make payment or run a banking transaction, you are using a 700-year-old algorithm. The Order didn't die. They just became the operating system of the world. I'm your host, and this is Daring Facts Unveiled. Peace out.